Hello, this is Martin Limited back for another video. And Alexa, set time for 1 hour.
1 hour, starting now.
Thank you. So, good news. Episode 4 has been removed. It is back and available for everyone to watch. Episode 6 sadly is not, although this time I still do not know the reason, because they didn't tell me. So, yeah. But anyway, that one's going to get fixed. I appealed that, so hopefully they get back to me on that. Anyway, let us continue on where we last left off. Missile strikes on Taiwan. Petrich hard on Medvedev. Yeah, it's Venitza Ripper was streaming to playing Elden Ring, repeatedly raging at the dumb moments when even a blind player wouldn't die. The chat usually debating whether about was baiting for donations or generally that bad. The stream typically ideal chaos was interrupted by a donation. Autonomous, 500 rules. Papier. What do you think of Medvedev? Ha, what now? Or in general? Dude, what can I think? I don't even live in Russia. I don't talk politics on stream like ever. What do I think? You know, the president doesn't decide much in any country. In Russia too, I bet might say one thing today and do the opposite tomorrow. Default politician. The stream snapped back to the usual groove. Stupid deaths. Same old donation bait. Three flags, one country. Historical moments and generations in Russia have taken a new height. But literally and literally, the new St. Petersburg flag symbolizing 3 eras, and the Russian Empire, the Soviet Union, and the Russian Federation are flying on a huge mast over the Gulf of Finland. The giant flags have become a part of the park, which has for longer become one of the points of attraction for both citizens and tourists, with the sounds of several Russian anthems, formed by choristers. 3 huge flags were hoisted immediately, one to fly in the Baltic wind, beautiful and symbolic. Ceremony took place in St. Petersburg seaside near the Europe's tallest skyscraper left a center historical flag of the Russian Empire and the huge USSR flag, as the Russian national flag were hoisted on a huge flagpole. Each of them is a relic. A festive concert organized on shore hundreds of people came to spectate the solemn moment. Russian president, together with the author of the idea, watched the ceremony from above. The project realized by Gazprom. Remember our common history. Taiwan is invaded. Thank you. Adam, his wife Melissa, and their 7-year-old son Adam Jr. huddled in a cargo ship deck, appearing under the unfamiliar shore. Not long ago, they were solid Baptist farming family from Georgia, hoping to pass trade onto their son. But the American Civil War burned their dreams. Home and dreams. They aimed for Europe, where refugees were reportedly welcomed, but the eager sailors only got them a one-way ticket to Russia, a land known only for scary news about authoritarianism and racism. We'll earn some cash and move to Europe, they reassured each other. The fear gnawed inside. They were settled new migrants in town, the Russian heartland. The name was unpronounceable, life unsettled. Their biggest fear was for their son. Was Russian schools accepting? He learned some Russian online, but it was about inadequate. They braced for the worst: mockery and isolation, maybe hostility. On the first day, Adam Jr. clung to his mother's hand, ready for anything, but nothing bad happened. The teacher introduced him. The kids eyed his dark skin. Newcomer curiosity. At the breach, someone shyly asked if he played soccer. Within hours, they were kicking balls and classmates. Fears, unlike adults, kids didn't care where he was from or his skin. That evening, hearing his son excited tales about his new friends and game, Adam and Melissa changed glances. Maybe this strange Russia wasn't so bad. Maybe the scary stories were just propaganda. Europe allured, faded. Kids see the world simpler. Oh! Sergei sat in a half-empty meeting hall, mechanically flipping through drafts of several bills. Yet another bill. Just a year ago, he entered the Duma with a burning eye, believing he could change the country for the better, but reality was different. He instead promised only endless amendments to existing laws instead of lively dialogue. We heard speeches about external threats and moral decay. Each session his vote faded, all bureaucrats entrenched in their chairs, decades mechanically explained the rules of the game. That Russia needs a special part, that radical change was dangerous and stability was apparent. Gradually, Sergei began to accept these words as fact. The turning point came when he was given to the floor. His passionate speech about protecting cultural sovereignty drew approving murmurs and applause. And afterward, unexpected bonuses, premiums, suddenly open opportunity. He realized the truth. The system didn't tolerate idealists, but generally rewarded those who say the right words. Now he voted with any government initiative without delving into details. He supported the reasonable restrictions, nodded at meetings, reaped his dividends. When the president spoke on defending national interests, Sergei genuinely believed that was the path for prosperity. Last doubts vanished when he caught the reflection of a limousine mirror, an expensive suit, and a comfortable gaze, but something subtly changed in his eye. He became part of the system, and the system embraced him. There was no drama, no remorse, just a natural change of things. Just politics. First active day. Secret meeting of the five. Heavy oak doors flooded shut, sealing the room office from the outside world. In a thick twilight, pierced only by a narrow ray of light, a massive oak table lay host decisions that will shape the nation like fingers clenched and fish. Shogu, Petrushev, Leverov, Pornikov, and Yushkin took their places. Medved slowly scanned the room. His voice quiet, steady, cut through tense silence. Colleagues, comrades, the words spoken in his office must not leave it. With a slight leak, he paused meaningfully. I'll hold you personally accountable as traitors of the mother. And the silence hung the air. The American events, the present account continued, have have opened every door to us. It's time to correct the historical injustice lingering since the Soviet collapse. With these words, he opened an antique safe, received 3 thick dossiers, landed on the table top with a dull thud. Golden letters gleamed coldly of black covers. Operation Samarkand, Operation Caucasian Captive, Operation Mongoose Strike. Here lies the foundations of our future. Medvedev fingers rested on the foldings. Plans for forever secure Russia's border, to reclaim what is rightfully ours, to complete what begins decades ago. This is just an order in our historical duty. The attendees silently studied the documents, grasping their ways. Each of you who has your task: Soygu, military components, Patrushev, security forces, Lavrov, diplomatic cover, Bernikov, operational support. Yershkin, unconventional solutions. The president stood leaning on the table. We need a flawless plan on each direction, and remember, America is no longer a player. Now we set the rules, and let's act like victors. December 31st, the final minutes of the passing year outside the filming room of childhood and bustle of the last minutes, preparation, scent of tangerine pipes and twinkles of garland in the windows. The world is changing rapidly, but on this special evening, in time seems to have slowed, returning to these most cherished traditions that unite generations. And then Kremlin chimes. On the screen, instead of the familiar face of Vladimir Vladimirovich, a once familiar but faded figure, Dmitry Anatolievich Medvedev in a sharp light suit stands in the microphone, his gaze warm yet resolute. Dear compatriots, I know this moment feels unusual for many of you, yet in the recent years, Vladimir Vladimirovich congratulated us, a man who did more for Russia than we can fully grasp today. We will miss on only his wisdom as a leader, but also his human warmth. Today, I want to remind you, Russia is not one person, it is all of us. The fundamental foundation they have allowed us to face today's stormy clouds. Fully armed, and I promise you, on this foundation, we will build a future worthy of our children. New Year's is called a family holiday, so let us, on this night, feel like one big family, a family of citizens of a great country, for it unites our unbreakable strength lies. You believe in me, I believe in each other, believe in you. Together we will overcome any storm. Happy New Year, Russia, to a bright future. The state is dead. Hey ho hey he hi. Secure oligarch loyalty. The oligarchs remain influential in our society, while we can bypass their interests thanks to being largely pressed into subservitude. It's clear that we cannot simply let them be if we ever wish to achieve victory over Europe. We will not ask much of them. Their yachts, their villas, their riches can remain as long as they show results and support us wholeheartedly. The Russian elite have always wanted to be seen as a part of the global billionaire party, but what we propose is much grander, a platter of owning an entire continent's money for their own benefit. Under our watchful eye and grip, they would be fools not to accept. High society. Crystal glasses clink under the halls of the vaulted ceiling, echoing off the glided moldings. Medvedev stood by the piano, gently swirling the glass of cognac. His calm gaze swept over the familiar faces, the same ones he hadn't changed in Forbes' list for decades. You know, gentlemen, I've always valued our understanding, but special times are coming. Soon, each of you will have to decide. Are you ready to invest not just capital, but your souls in the Russian future? I'm confident you'll make the right choice. After all, we're reasonable people. Oh, where was I already? After all, we're reasonable people, aren't we? The science thicker than a cigar smoke hung in the air. Someone froze with a cabernet in hand. Another nervously traced the rim of their glass. Our Western partners, he softly emphasized the words, somehow think Russia were only on oil and gas. But you, I know the truth. It runs on people like you, on your loyalty. Widow froze the silver tray. Medvedev sipped his cognac, leaving the lips marked glass. So let's drink to our common cause, and to this understanding remain unchanged. Brazil is in a state of siege, and this is where all the Brazilian content begins. So there's the National Government of Brazil, the Northeastern Military Command, the Eastern Military Command, the Southeastern Military Command, the Southern East Military Command, the Northern Military Command, the Amazonian Military Command. It'll break apart eventually. There we go. Groundhog Day. Nina lazily sipped it channeled until a familiar face appeared on screen. Andrea stood in the Duma podium in her unchanged blue suit, but with a sign impeccably hairstyle. Emergency address, she announced in every tone as if it was a web forecast. Footsteps echoed from the hall. Medvedev stepped onto the phone. Citizens of Russia, in the context of the complex international propaganda, Anita could guess next phase by heart. She had recited this speech, word by word, just like last year and the year before. The whole clapped in unison, the same deputy faces, same nods, same young careerists in the front rows. Some had been replaced with differences. Nina glanced at the window. Beyond it flickered the same courtyard and the crackled playground, the same cars by the entrance, the same popular they had promised to cut down 3 years ago. She muted the TV on the kitchen counter. The faucet she dripped yesterday yogurt sat on the fridge. Lecture notes lay on the table. Tomorrow they will bring the same classes, same professors, same forward chatter. Nothing changes. Just another address. And now we're going to kill some commies. There's also been a coup in Peru. That rhymed. Anyway. No, you will not take this spot. Also by Federal Air Command. Iraq's collapsed. I'm rhyming a lot today. between the Sadrists, Original Republic, Nashkabadi, Islamic, and that's about it. I did set for the Nashkabadist order to win, and the Iraqi Ba'ath Party, or the Army and Men of the Nashkabadi Order, mostly because they annexed Kuwait and the autonomous region of Kurdistan. Just because. I don't need to answer everything. Having just time, have some fun, and who knows how long. Oh. Masses wins the Argentine elections. The other main political group. There's only two factions currently can play as Brazil, the National Republic of Government of Brazil, and the Brazilian Legalist Army, led by the High Command of the Brazilian Legalist Army. And then there's the National Republic of Brazil, led by the Brazilian Patriotic Alliance, AFB. APB, sorry. RDP criticized Medvedev regime. Communist criticized regime. United Russia is a clear centre of authority in our government, yet other parties still continue to move semi-independently. For our struggle, we must act as one by using the People's Front and the All-Russian People's Front, or ONF, later term in, I think it was like 2023 or so, to just the People's Front, or NF platform. We might be able to create a coalition with all major Russian parties to act as under the United Russia banner openly, where every section of the Duma had been bickering among the United Russia and other parties. A coalition will make it so we can iron out the disagreements and move as one singular foreign organism. Gambit. A heavy silence hung in the darkened presence of August Medvedev, slowly tracing his fingers along the edge of the massive oak table, fixed piercing gaze on the FSB chief Bernikov, seat across from him. His capability, that's what's critical now, the EBN, enunciating each word sharply. Shipyards, factories, plants, all must serve the state. We cannot allow strategic production assets to remain in private hands. The head of the security service nodded slightly, his face impassible. Your task, Medvedev, lowering his voice, is to keep these industrialists on a short leash. If anyone shows excessive independence, you know the levers of your disposal. He leaned back in his chair, crossing his eyes. Special attention to defense enterprises. No shady deals, no attempts to siphon off assets. Every machine, every skilled worker is a matter of national security. Bernikov finally spoke, calm voice. We've already compiled a dossier of key players who will fill will have full control over financial flow and business contact. Excellent, Medina nodded approvingly. But remember, for now, everything must look standard business practices. Only if someone decides they play against the system, he trails off, raising an eyebrow meaningfully. It will be quiet and effective, the security chief concluded, rising from his chair. After departure, Medvedev sat a long time staring at the ceiling, mentally melting the invisible mat of enterprise soon come under state control. No one will stand against the state's way. In the halls of power, the heavy curtains bearing stirred. In the dressers, Medvedev set aside a folder. A crystal glass of water caught a glint of light, briefly illuminating his weary face. Remember how we talked about the one-party system? His voice was soft, almost initiate, but Petrushev knew a steely calculation always lay behind the tone. The latter merely nodded, settling into the chair. His finger instantly reached the table but stopped. His conversation needed no notes. Article 79. Medvedev traced a finger of text, leaving a faint mark on the glossy paper. Formerly, sovereignty, protection, and assets, control of freedom of actions. Outside of Moscow, nights slowly faded. Somehow began below or beyond the Kremlin's laws. The people hurried about their lives, nowhere they'd wake tomorrow in a different country. We will frame it as necessary, Khrushchev finally broke the silence against the backdrop of American chaos. Exactly, Medvedev rubbed the brim of his nose. A shield against the chaos, a fortress wall. They'll beg for this protection. Themselves, silence filled the office. The Constitutional Court, Khrushchev asked, already knowing the answer, will confirm. A shadowy smile crossed Medvedev's file. The key is to follow procedure. Let them think it's their choice. He approached the window where the night slowly descended. Then we will begin gradually, no sudden moves. Oligarchs want some civilian destiny in Abakan. What the hell's Abakan? Oh, which one? Oh, fuck. Khakassia, I think that one is. Yeah, Khakassia. Next between Altai and Tuva. Random places, but alright. Cossack fusion. It didn't take long for something unimaginable to start happening to the Russian southern frontier. It wasn't just a cultural thing, it was a true fusion in Kuban and Tarik. I think it's around Krasnostrelodor. I don't exactly know where the Tarik regions are, but it's these two particularly, and possibly Pyatigorsk. It's definitely not in the Baltic, I know for a fact. I think Tarik is more northerly regions, but it's generally in this region. It's not near Don, that's what I know for a fact. The Don region, this actually is Tarik. So, don't doubt. A new explosive subculture has born, which West Russia with a mix of wariness and admiration, dubbed Russian rednecks. A fury Southern American bravado multiplied by Cossack free-spiritedness produced a stunning result. A hot-tempered nature of Confederate descendants, for whom honor is not an empty word, emerged with a stern deposition of Tarik Cossacks, accustomed to wearing a saber not for show. Soon, even the boldest Highlander of the neighboring republics learned a new rule: if you see a man with a sturdy guy speaking it in a southern drawl, better steer clear. Messing with them comes to a steep price. The new subculture took root in everyday life. Cossack girls married tall Alabama farmers, while their brothers led the American pastor. There's massive families emerged, with surnames like Fortin Kovalenko. Raised no eyebrows, even in the Stanitsas echoed with country music seen on the Don steps and local taverns, now serving borscht alongside barbecue ribs. One column of smoke from one such clan feast was so thick that a vigilant neighbor would fire the brigade, only for the crew to arrive and not find a fire but an international picnic on epic proportions. Farming got a second wind. The American soil cultivation and breeding techniques meshed perfectly with the Cossack centuries-old knowledge of their land. Apiaries used both traditional methods and modern hives, with unprecedented honey harvest, but the real change was in the way of life. Families built sprawling houses for multiple generations, where children learned how from a young age both Cossack horsemanship and pickup truck repair, revered the Bible, and knew how to smoke pork just right. This people was... Oh, it is actually in Kalmykia. I thought it was more northern. I mean, it is slightly more northerly. This people was ready to defend their new home. So, yeah, Russian rednecks. Now that's just funny. The fusion of Southern American bravado and Cossack free spirit birthed a new culture. Here, the Confederate flag was flies alongside the tricolor. The Cossack tunes blared from pickup trucks because the population is ready to defend their region with weapons in hand, and volunteers are eager to swell the ranks of their army. So they live in the Kuban regions of Stavropol and Krasnodar, as well as southern Rostov or Volgodonsk and Ilitsa. And then there's the Republic of Texas. Finally, we are a free nation in Texas. God save the Texan nationalist movement and the Republic of Texas. Medvedev appointed into ONF leadership. After the death of Vladimir Putin, the All-Russian People's Front, or in Russian, let me get it up. the Obshurovsky Rossiyski Narodny Front. The Obshurovsky Rossiyski Narodny Front, or nowadays just known as the Narodny Front. Found itself leaderless, sparking fears that the organization might disintegrate. However, Dmitry Medvedev, the current Russian president, has formally appointed it as organization's head of the Chief Executive Committee, and in his inauguration speech, Medvedev pledged to bolster the People's Front, and emphasis on an organization like the ONF is needed more than ever in today's geopolitical climate. Many politicians observe the views of Medvedev's appointees as mere formality, another testament to his loyalty to Putin. Yet some believe that the new president and establishment of ONF will reach beyond Putin's achieve. So the Russian state media has replaced all those original things with the All-Russian People's Front. Now, the groups within it, other than United Russia, there's the Center for People's Unity, the Social Labour Platform, the National Patriotic Conference, and the 4th of November Club. There's also the Rodina, the National Liberation Movement, and currently that's the only ones in it now. In our current time, the ONF has United Russia, Just Russia, we'll get those guys later, Rodina, National Liberation Movement, the Progressive Socialist Party of Ukraine, and We Together with Russia. Interesting stuff. Alright, complete the sovereignization of politics. It is time for more drastic changes to the political system and utilize church stuff. So the administrator is Mikhail Kuznetsov, the political commissar is Andrei Shlochkin, the economic commissioner is Valery Rushytsky, and the youth commissar is Christina Chukpik. You can change it how many you like. Medvedev's posts on the Russians' new course. Friends, comrades, citizens of Russia. How long do we have left? We have 21 minutes all the time. Russia. Today I claim Russia's new course, a course of rigid power centralization. This is our answer to the global chaos and the only path for a multipolar world where Russia will be the leader, not a pawn in others' games. Centralization means unified ironclad governance. Every region, every industry, every information channel under state control. The political life under the aegis of one party embodying the people's will. We are moving to a single party system to eliminate fragmentation and chaos. This decision is made because in an era where the world is collapsing, weakness and discord means death. Only a monolithic Russia can stand firm and impose its rules. The West has puffed up hypocrites and cowardless theories in choking it on its own stench. A democracy is rotting cesspool. Cities ablaze in protest migrants against locals, their rulers pathetic clowns unable to hold power. The US is drowning in a civil war. Europe is crumbling amid mob screams, and the sanctions are the yappings of a mangy dog whose fangs have fallen out. They clung to unipolar world, but it's collapsed. Russia won't step on their rake, handling the power of the gaggle of loud mouths. We are building a center of strength and multiple to the future, where our voices for thunder. External enemies, vile parasites, these checkpoints waiting for our weakness. We've intrigue, sowed discord, meetings for breaking us, but we'll crush them like insects. Centralization and a single party system are our shield and sword. Everything under one command, all for Russia. Greatness and new world order will build out there. Doubt, grind any sabotage to dust and prove that Russia will not pray, but a shape of destiny. The new course, the strength order, multipolarity is declared. Our chance is our future forward. Reinforce the Putin constitution. While the current constitution does have some problems, the president decides that yeah, I'll do it. I originally thinking I'd have them in our pocket, but I'll do this one first. President decides a single amendment and vision, but will be enough to address the current situation. Our system was built around the framework, yet we have always made sure that the full network of pursue our agenda we ran in such problems. Americans and European democracies also have similar problems, yet they don't rewrite their constitutions completely. In our pursuit of change, we cannot blind ourselves to naive idealism. Reinventing the wheel is unnecessary as long as our future administration studies past mistakes, both local and foreign. PLA lands in Okinawa. The Ural Belt. Oh, this is very funny. I'll give a simplified version for you now, but the longer version is equally funny. Basically, black people are being discriminated by Tajiks. It's more complicated than that, but of all the things, I thought they would be discriminated more by the Russians, but it says once I go through it, it's more of the Central Asians that are being racist to the blacks. The African Americans. Very funny. Well, now figure out. When the United States collapsed, Russia saw an influx of not only white conservatives from burning cities of the Rust Belt, Detroit and Cleveland and Gary, thousands of African Americans fell as well. For them, it wasn't an ideological choice, but a purely pragmatic one. Instead of the chaos of a civil war, they chose the harsh but stable Urals, where industrial giants always need more hands. The brutal winters in Yekaterinburg and Orenburg seem a small price to pay for a short and a new and quiet life. Arrival was a breath of fresh air for Euro industries. Men whose father and grandfather worked in Ford and General Motors factories for not just desperate willingness to work, but also top-notch workers. The quality of the product of the factories, where they were hired, began steady improvement. However, integration wasn't smooth, as at the lower rungs of labor hierarchy, they clashed with migrants from former Soviet republics in the factories. Smoking rooms and markets scuffled, broken out amid shouts of "These freaks are taking our jobs." Over time, the two communities learned to stay clear of each other, forming an invisible boundary on the working class neighborhoods. But while tensions grew on the street, a new culture took root in the cities. These Baptist churches with bilingual schools of settler children began opening in Yekaterinburg and Chelyabinsk. Chairs echoed the basements of old buildings, and restaurants and menus choose soul food, adapted to Russian realities. Hearty stews moved to cabbage instead of greens. Cornbread made from local flour and spiced chicken wings are quickly becoming hip with beer. factory smoke with barbecue smoke. Mixes with barbecue smoke. So, yeah. The Ural Belt. The arrival of skilled workers from America and Rust Belt have revitalized these Ural industries, but also sparked fierce competition and social unrest in the lower rungs of society. And what was the other one? So they're in Chilabinsk, Yekaterinburg, and Tyman. Very interesting. I think there is one more after this. St. Petersburg. There could actually be more. I don't actually remember that much. I know there are definitely more. And there's definitely more about Russian rednecks. Oh yeah, the Hawaiian Crimeas. That's a very interesting one. Ashgabat have just destroyed the actual republic, so it looks to be if the Islamic Republic of Iraq dies, then which it's very likely to do, it's going to be a side risk for Ashgabat. Action equals reaction. When the TV announced the new phase of centralization, protests erupted in major cities. Thousands took to the streets chanting slogans about freedom and human rights, but within hours the crowds began to thin. Oman acted harshly by methodically detaining ringleaders and pushing the rest on the square. By morning, the streets were empty, and despite angry social media posts, no coordinated or no real plans of the resistance emerged. Alongside protests with fierce opponents hitting the streets, what you think? What you want it to be like the States? They shouted, filming on video, pointing at the screen with news of bloody clashes in the United States. In America, state media swiftly seized the narrative day after day, showing foreign chaos juxtaposed with its Russian stability. Many who were tensely supported by the progress yesterday now averted their eyes in embarrassment, or even began to justify the authorities' actions. The region's unrest was quelled faster after a high-profile arrest and threats of criminal charges. Protesters dispersed in their own new barricades. No barricades, no mass clashes, just some isolated shots quickly drowned out by the tide of approval. Better our order than their anarchy became a frequent flame, turning the mere justification into a new folk wisdom. Balance was restored. Victor Bauer escaped to America. He actually also came to America around the same time, ironically. Actually, I think he came here to Russia earlier. He's also a member of the LDPR, by the way, for Ulyanovsk. Oh, right, you don't probably know who Victor Bauer is. If anyone watched the movie Merchants of Death, I haven't, but it had Nick Cage in it. This guy is Victor. That movie was about him. It's also hilariously wrong because he wasn't even born in the US. He lived in Tajikistan. So, yeah. And reinvite South Africa to BRICS. Because South Africa just won, the ANC has just wanted civil war. More than ANC. Yeah, well done ANC. Sudanese civil war is happening and around the same time.
И мы не обломились петь про Володю. Ведь вы такая же фашистская хуйня. Давить тех, кто напротив. Постоянный пилорама, это дрянь. Но постойте, вы сами постите такую же звенящую пошлость. Так что ебать вас, господа, Кремль дотации.
Vows, we work for the Kremlin. a track from Khan Zameh and Slava KPSS on the underground rap. Enough said, it's just a rap track. Need to kill you two Williots. A DG instead of an AQ. Dumb animals. Strengthen sovereignty protections. Need a switch channels distracted from outdated political science textbooks. On screen, Dmitry Medvedev was the usual stern expression addressing the nation. While these Europeans skirted and yelled about their fake news were fortifying Russian sovereignty blared from the TV, we present a package of cultural mentioned. Every other sentence laced with a jab at the West. We don't need advice from degenerate gay propagandists calling themselves governments. Among the proposed changes were generally useful ones: simplifying tax reporting for small businesses, protection against corruption raids, corporate raids, new support measures for young families. But between the lines, something else emerged: a clause, a special economic regime for strategical vital enterprises, was accompanied by footage of the defense factory running around the clock. An amendment on unified labor resource accounting systems was oddly paired with the scene of the military enlistment office and new digital display. While the West wallows in the mud of wars, we will ensure our citizens' safety. Medvedev funded introducing changes to military laws. Nina noticed how seamlessly the speech transitioned to voluntary patriotic initiatives at enterprise and encouraging labor heroism. The evening news only deepened the unease aftertaste. Amid reports of new social programs, clips of sudden reserve checks and volunteer militia drills slipped through. Everything was framed as a response to collective resignation policies, but it resembles a well-oiled mechanism poised to launch a full-throttle sell town. Nina realized that behind the louder rhetoric of protecting traditional values for corrosive liberalism, the country was quietly reconfiguring, and clearly not for a peaceful life. Yeah, you. Move them in our have them in our pockets. Our oligarchs have something we desperately need: foreign network, media, finance, industry, contacts. They have much in terms of foreign capital. It is time to put it to use. For the betterment of Russia, there have been a lot of people in Europe who like us. But there are even more people who like our money. Never knew Zaris and get high grain antennas. Dead finally. Jesus Christ. DPL criticize the government. He donates his money. Mistook it for me. Yeah, common name for me was Tomabom, usually between my mom's boyfriend's youngest son, Fraser. That's why I call him Strawberry, out of spite, because his name is Spanish for strawberry. Communist Kurosawa government and new posts for the ONF. With each step taken by the government under the leadership of Dmitry Medvedev, concept of the party politics is making in becoming more and more vague. The All-Russian Popular Front is coming to the fore, which unites not only political but also labour and volunteer organisations, like it does in real life, trade unions and associated of active citizens, which it does in real life. United Russia, being the largest participant in the Popular Front, attracts its former opponents and partners both in the Duma and decided to cooperate with the organisation. Some experts call for the general political unity in the government. Decisions made by the ONF will become a driving force in Russian society. So the Social Liberal New People Party under Alexander Nikitaev and the Party of Growth under Boris Titov will join our coalition as the 4th November Club and will become the centre of political unity. Or the State Liberals, as it's called. Now, fate of him is a mysterious thing. This is Michael. You will see Michael a lot more during the First European War. Basically, Michael was a libtard and a hardcore Democrat in a conservative family. Now, after the First European War ends, he becomes an anti-globalist super soldier. Trust me, it's very cool. The transformation is very neat. Even if it's like 3 events, I think, it's very cool. See him from libtard to anti-globalist super soldier. No regrets were made saying that. I've been eating. This is a video. 1 minute by the way. So this will probably be my last that I'll be reading out. If you told Michael 5 years ago he would live in Russia and be called Marker, he would put it mildly, not having believed you. He was born in the USA in the city of Seattle. As the eldest child in his family, his parents and 2 younger twin sisters were extremely conservative. Unlike their older brother, Michael was a staunch supporter of progressives and Democrats, while his family were Republicans, which greatly led to arguments. Then something horrifying happened. The USA fell apart, engulfing in the flames to a civil war. Between Biden, Trump, and numerous other factions, the family were forced to sell almost all their property to gangsters just to scrape enough money to one-way tickets. A flight to Russia at the point they didn't care where to go as long as it was far away from the horrifying violence of war. Ended up in Vladivostok, where local volunteers helped them find an apartment in Khrushchevska and get jobs. His father worked as an electrician, his mother a seamstress, but Michael wouldn't calm down completely, repeating in his free moments that Russia was a terrible, homophobic, racist dictatorship. Alexa, stop! And they needed to save money to move to Europe, to the White House of Freedom. The argument started again. Nobody wanted to leave, everyone was content. His sisters opposed it the most. They gone found of Vladivostok. They quickly learned Russian and integrated into their school, where they were warmly accepted and planned to enroll in the local university. Michael found himself in a minority and had to come to terms with it. He got a part-time job delivering parcels from Ozon, and in his free time studied Russian. He didn't notice how he gradually changing. His homophobia and Europhilia began to fade. He stopped visiting leftist forums, stopped whining about how terrible life is in Russia, and he simply didn't care anymore. He started living an ordinary life, even managing to befriend a guy in a warehouse, Kirill, who jokingly called him Maka. I do not know what Maka means. I will now look it up on my Google Translate. Why the hell am I feeling deja vu? I didn't even do this before. What the fuck? Is it because I just said it out loud? Probably because I just said it out loud and I'm doing it. It does not have a translation. One night, walking through Vladivostok, gazing the Sea of Japan. I think it technically... yeah, Vladivostok. I was saying it here. That's the Sea of Irkutsk. He thought, I wonder if I ever go home, and do I even want to go back? I really need to get the TFR flavor mod. I mean, it has already released its first part, and it pretty much is a part of TFR. Technically it's pronounced TFR&X, not TFR&Redux. I've been just called it TFR&Redux, I didn't know it was TFR&X. Also, fun fact, TFR flavor mod is technically a separate mod as well. For some reason, even though they're also integrated at the same time. I don't know, man. Anyway, a lot of questions. And with that, I call this video a Jew. So thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time. Hope to see you then. This is Mountain signing off. Good day, goodbye. Goodbye. Next time we'll be getting into contact with the LDPR. Or forcing them to join the group. And eventually we'll get the Communist Party of the Russian Federation, the Left Front Movement of New Socialists, Truth and Trust, Just Russia for Truth, and Security Council. You won't get the other Russia or E.V. Lemonov or the Communist Party, Communists of Russia, until after the First European War. So, hope to see you next time. Hope to see you then. This is Martin signing off. Good day, goodbye, goodbye.